About a year ago, I decided I wanted to learn Russian. So I decided to take Animal Crossing, change it to Russian, and see if I could play through it to understand. It's been, like I said, about a year, and now I actually go out and practice Russian and can hold a conversation pretty decently, and I learned it all from video games. We're going to go back to the first video game I played in Russian, Animal Crossing, and see what I remember. I've played various other games in Russian since, but this was number one. Let's see, here we have it. Animal Crossing. All right, this is kind of like The Sims, but with a twist. All right, here we go. And then Schmiede A, right? Press A. Classic gamer word. Здравствуйте. Говорит Tom Nook. Hello, it's Tom Nook speaking, right? Today is August 3rd, 2025. Let's go Senya, right? Sunday at 2:02. Perfect. Look at that. Сегодня вечером мы устроим. Pretty much all you need is a little translator to go with your game. All you really have to do is sit down with your game. Obviously, Animal Crossing is a really good starting game. It's kind of made for all ages, so if a Russian child can understand this, that means it's probably a good place for you to start to learn Russian yourself. You just can kind of sit with a translator, translate as you go. If you need extra practice, I always recommend Wiktionary, which is effectively a free dictionary. You can copy and paste your word and get more of a comprehensive look. Arrange, organize, establish, kind of just synonyms of arrange as we saw. And there you go. It's that easy to learn language with video games. Let's proceed. So yeah, tonight we're going to get some fireworks started. It's going to be a new tradition on the island. Basically, something like that is what he said. Pretty normal text, nothing crazy, right? Some of these games have quite a dialogue if they're in a fantasy world, or if they're in, like, for example, Cyberpunk is in like the future. So you want to kind of pick something really vanilla. The only bad thing is there's no voice, so I have to kind of come up with my own accent. That's really the only negative of this game as far as starting Russian. You're not gonna hear the Russian being spoken. So you can develop your own sounds, your own accent. And then eventually, once you start to understand a little bit more about the language, then it becomes a better idea to listen. Obviously, it's more important to know that the words exist first before you start to learn to pronounce them. Obviously, it's one thing if you have perfect pronunciation, but you only know 20 words, you're not going to get very far. If you know 4,000 words and you can use them with a funny accent, it's a little better for making friends, for progressing, for having fun. You can refine your pronunciation over time. That's the way I look at it. Надеюсь, вы соберетесь с друзьями на праздник. I hope you will gather up your friends. This is one of the first words I learned in Russian. I think it's like gather up, because in this game they keep asking you to, like, go gather a bunch of sticks, go collect a bunch of rocks, butterflies, whatever. Gather, assemble, collect, right? So kind of one of the first words I learned using Animal Crossing, because they keep telling you, collect a bunch of sticks, collect a bunch of wood, It's a very, very human and video game word, right? It's used a lot in video games because in missions and things like this, they'll tell you to collect a bunch of items and bring them together, turn them in. And in real life, as I always say on this channel, life is like a game. Things like Duolingo, they don't really have a lot in common with the conversations that you're going to have in life. Things like these kind of courses, things like this. It's not TV. You can watch a TV show with your eyes closed. It's not necessarily gonna help. You could be thinking about something else and finish an entire season of a Russian TV show. I really think video games are the way to make sure that you're engaged and learn a language. There's a danger, of course, online. When people find out that you're an English speaker, typically they like to practice their English with you, of course, because not as many people get the opportunity to interact with a native speaker. So I recommend, once you get the basics down, play a game that allows you to kind of go undercover as a speaker of the language that you want to learn. For example, a game that's like a little text-based, maybe something like a World of Warcraft or a free MMORPG where you're typing with other people so they can't hear your accent and tell that you're not a native speaker of this language that you're trying to learn. And it makes it a little easier to kind of blend in and learn the basics like that. And then once you're a little confident, then you can start going on voice chat, whatever if you're gonna do it online, and practicing is the way I look at it. It's really a good game. It's a really good game to learn. It has a bunch of languages available: Japanese, maybe even Chinese. I have to find out. Japanese, obviously English, Spanish, French, Italian, lots of good languages to learn. The only two factors really are like what level you speak the language and what holds your interest. Obviously I could recommend you a game, but if it's not the kind of games that you're into, then it probably won't do you any good. If you're a huge GTA fan, if you love GTA, if you can play GTA for 5 hours a day already, then maybe you'd be interested in just taking that game and changing it into Russian and using that motivation. You have that love for GTA and playing in Russian. Whatever you kind of like, I would recommend that. That's my kind of a cheesy answer, but whatever game that would motivate you to play. Duolingo, other apps, fantastic ways to start it. But of course, I think the most similar thing you can find to real life, like if you can't travel to Russia and practice with Russian speakers, or can't travel to a place where there's Russian speakers and practice, the closest thing you can get is really immersing yourself in a fake world, right? Life is a game, so using video games to learn things about life are fantastic. I didn't really start learning languages until like probably 5 years ago. I got a job in a restaurant, and I was not able to speak Spanish at all to the Spanish-speaking employees, and I was like, well, what the hell? I had Spanish in high school. I'm supposed to be good at this. It was pretty frustrated, and then decided to go home and start changing my video games to Spanish, learn Spanish that way, and I'm like, well, why doesn't anyone make a channel about this? So I did. Idot na moi, what do we call this? My box. I don't know, my mailbox. What is it again? Pocztowy yeshik, my yeshik. What do we have? Mamy tort. Oh, there we go. So we have mother's cake. Okay. How do I put my mother's cake on the floor? Right, pomestit, I believe, is just to put it down. Look at that. All right. It adds to a nice house here, complete with a voucher, Sahari, a sugar voucher. A kuski gilne, a piece of something. Zolotoy samarodok is gold or yellow. Samarodok, whatever that is. What a great house. All right, let's keep collecting things, because I might be a little bit of a hoarder. What do we have here? Some kind of... Now this is summer. Look at that. A little fair has come to town. Who's this? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. See, and that's why it's good to learn from video games, in case you accidentally attack someone with a sachok. In Russia, that would result in prison time, but if you do it here on the game, you can laugh it off. Let's see, who's this guy here? Red. Okay, interesting. Red. There we go. Извини, у меня еще закрыто. Sorry, but I'm closed right now. Ой, по-моему, мы с тобой не знакомы. I believe we haven't met yet. All right, cool, Mr. Red. Always trust someone in a straw hat. Mnie зовут Red, right? They call me Red. Я работаю в области продаж. I work in the oblasti продаж sales field. A ty значит Gamelang, and that means you're Gamelang, right? Of course, it's tough being famous here. All the lovely foxes tend to recognize me. Intelligentное имя. Сильное. It's like a strong name, right? It's an intelligent name, a strong name. Мне подружимся. I think we're going to be friends. I think we're going to be good friends. You're going to become like family to me. Okay, definitely an interesting thing to say to someone you just met, and regardless of the language that you're speaking. Gamelang, очень приятно, Gamelang. Gamelang, very nice to meet you, right? Очень приятно, Gamelang. Like, my pleasure. It's a great pleasure. Okay, right. Repeating the name. This guy's read How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? Repeat the name like an insane person. Now, when I first was starting this game, pretty much like every single sentence gave me trouble. Now, at least, we are only getting tripped up maybe half the time or less. The OG proposal. The offer's limited. It's a limited time offer, right? For me, language is the peak. There's nothing else I want to do with life. People always say, right, we're created in the image of God. A lot of religions like to kind of share that idea that each one of us is made after the higher consciousness, is kind of made in the image, made to model after the higher consciousness. So I think the number one thing we can do to connect with the higher consciousness is to show love to one another, right? If theoretically, if we're all at peace with one another, we're all operating together, we're all vibrating on the same frequency, to put it in the hippie terms, then I think hopefully good things will happen. But I think the first step in doing that is to learn one another's language. So whether it's through tech, whether it's through video games, whether it's through rigorous, travel, I think that's the ultimate mission, for me at least. And I hope, obviously, you feel the same if you are into languages, at least somewhat. So that's it. I found it. Only during the time of the fireworks I can offer you a unique chance to win valuable prizes. All right, so sounds like your typical scammer, right? In any language, every language has has such people. I love streaming again because it's really then it just allows you like a whole backup team to help you out when learning. The last time going to the airport was quite a difficult venture. I think now with my Russian a little improved, we can talk a little more technical with this dodo creature. Let's see what we have here. Привет. Приветствую на Poroge Poneviesia. Ooh, okay, maybe not. The threshold of the skies, right? Something like this. Чем могу быть полезен? How can I be of service, right? Actually, never mind. I think it's... I didn't mean to come here. I'm here on accident. Think about it. So if you're watching a TV show, right, you're watching the characters communicate with each other, right? You're kind of like, okay, like you could start daydreaming, thinking. You could close your eyes, the whole TV show would play. Whereas a video game, now here, boom, it's my turn to respond, right? Чем могу быть полезен? He asked me, how can I be helpful? Well, here it obviously gives me a nice list of options that I can respond to, or if I really want to simulate the experience, I can pretend I can come up with my own answer that I'm going to think of. How can I be helpful? Actually, I would say, I came here accidentally, right? I came here on accident. I don't know how to say that in Russian. Я попал сюда случайно. Basically, which would literally be like, I fell here like by chance, something like this. I came here on accident. I fell here by chance. Or we can translate one of these. Хочу в путешествие, right? I want to travel. Скучаю по гостям. Basically, I'm looking for guests. I want to host guests, something like this. Or ничего не надо. I don't need anything. Let's see what this word is here. Скучаю. Скучаю, right? Скучать. To miss, long for, to be bored. I'm bored with guests. Yeah, basically, I long for, more like I really want guests. I'm getting lonely. I would like some guests. So boom. I believe that video games are the number one way to learn a language outside of travel, outside of actually going to Russia and practicing Russian. This is the number one way to do it at home, 100%. Watching is not going to hurt you. Watching cartoons, TV shows are not going to hurt you, but think about it. You know, as an adult, you could watch cartoons and just like close your eyes and the cartoons are going to play. With video games, you need to know what's going on to play the game, right? You don't have to know what's going on. The cartoon's going to play all the way to the end. But with a video game, you need to know what's going on to make progress. To know if it says go to the store, the game's not going to progress until you translate go to the store and learn that by association, right? You can watch a TV show and no one's going to know what you're talking about. This will work with any language. My first language that I did it with was Spanish. I learned Spanish. So I worked so here's the story. Basically, I had Spanish in high school. I ended up working at a restaurant later on. I couldn't speak any Spanish. There was like Mexicans, Guatemalans there who didn't speak English, and I wasn't able to communicate with them, and I was frustrated. I was like, well, what the hell? I learned like traditionally in school. I thought I was going to be able to speak Spanish. Didn't work. So I decided, well, I learned a lot from video games in real life, right? So maybe if I just change the language on my video games, I'll be able to learn Spanish, and it worked. I learned Spanish pretty damn good. If you check out my channel, you can see videos of me going and practicing Spanish in real life. And now I decided to, boom, do the same with Russian. Assume, and I would recommend as well ShareX, which is kind of a nice little screenshot tool, another completely free tool, which lets you, let me show you here. Basically allows you to just take a screenshot, right? And then copy and paste it. This is what I'm going to be doing for Chinese, because how do you type a Chinese character? I don't know. But then it allows you to like just type it in all in one, and then you can, if it's a word you don't know, you can just remove and go like that. How long do you think it would take to be able to speak Russian? So I started last August. It's been a year, about 6, 7, 8 months in. I had the confidence to really go in and start to speak Russian, as you can check out on my channel. A little bit of my practice where I go fishing for conversation in real life. I would say doing this, playing maybe two hours or so video games a day. Obviously you have your break days and stuff. Around a couple hours of a game a day in Russian, you'll be able to speak Russian. Probably 6, 7, 8 months. Bonus points if you stream too, because then you'll really summon Russians to the chat, which is fun. Here we go again. Nothing has changed, right? Just like a year later, they still made no progress on the island. Tom Nook is drinking his Nook Cola. And I guess it's gonna come down to me here to get them some bells. Let's find out what bells are called. Someone was asking that previously. Let's find out what bells are called. Gamelang. Good welcome, basically. Welcome. Чем могу служить сегодня? With what can I serve you today? Насчет магазина, about the store. Okay, we're having a store coming around. Хочу продать, I want to sell. Что продаешь? What are you selling, right? That's where one of the first words I learned here. Not exactly super valuable, super important to know in real life, I guess, unless I'm trying to sell things to Russians. But prodat, to sell, so I want to sell, or what are you selling? Prodaешь. We're going to say about the store. Насчет магазина. About the store, basically. How do I learn pronunciation? So normally, ideally, you want to find a game with Russian voice acting. Otherwise, it kind of, you just got to go word by word here, right? You can kind of learn it like this. Normally, when you're looking in a dictionary, right? So, example, let's see. I want to know more about this продать word, right? A lot of them here will kind of tell you where the stress lies, right? Продать, right? Продать. As well, I have. If you're curious, with this symbol and stuff like that, how it affects pronunciation, t versus t, right? T versus t. Kind of, you can take a look at my videos. A great trick I always use to help my pronunciation. I think of a person talking Russian with Russian accent, talking English with a Russian accent, right? A really good trick to kind of a way to trick yourself into pronouncing correct Russian, for example, is think of person talking English with Russian accent. He talk like this. So when I read Russian, I try to do same accent, right? Хочу продать. Что продаешь? Насчет магазина, right? It's a little bit of a meme, but it works, I think, for the most part. It works. But accents are a great way to make friends, is what I always say. Сейчас мы просим пожертвовать материал на постройку магазина. We're asking for material for the construction of the store, basically. If you're gaming, might as well just change your language and get a little extra practice, right? It does not hurt. It can't hurt you if you're playing, especially if you're playing games already. It can't hurt. It can only make your experience better. Some people like to play on the hardest mode ever, like speedrun, bro. I'm gonna break the world record for speedrun. Like, people like to get those kind of challenges, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I would recommend to those people, a challenge that's going to improve your brain's capacity to process life, that's going to improve your communication skills, that's going to give you the opportunity to charm people, to meet people, to travel further, and just improve yourself outside of the game as well. I just absolutely love it, and really believe in this idea. So anyway, right now we are asking for donations of materials to build the store. All right, what do they need? What do they mean? Right? I want to donate. Что нужно то? What is needed? Yes, no. Clear. Okay, got it. Right. Let's go with что нужно то. What is needed? Что нужно то, basically. What is needed? Для магазина нужно по 30 единиц. Now we're getting into like more Minecraft type words, right? 30 pieces of wood, 30 pieces of solid wood, and 30 pieces of, I'm guessing this is like light wood. Soft wood, okay. And iron samorodko. So these are, again, not exactly words that you're going to come in contact with, but it's still just good to be challenged, right, every once in a while. This game, most of the sentences, most of the words are easy, so when they start throwing in, as I like to call them, Minecraft words, or like materials, right, iron nuggets, like, you're probably not going to need to know that, but it's still just good. When you're speaking another language, you're constantly just going to have words thrown at you that you don't know. So being able to get good at making sense of the words around it and then putting together an idea quickly is only going to help you. Perhaps часть материалов уже есть, поэтому сейчас нам нужно. So part of the materials we already have, but we still need more. Or no. Oh yeah, only part of the material. We only have part of the materials, that's why we need more. Okay, now. Alright. And there, we need 30 iron nuggets is what they need, right? So right? Thanks in advance. Alright. So that's really what we need. I guess wood is easy to find when you're surrounded by trees. Obviously, it's a little harder to find these iron nuggets. So how are we going to do that? Well, I don't know if I can collect gold nuggets, but I certainly can collect bugs because they're all around. Oh, so what you've obviously this game is very, very big on collecting. So it's going to certainly reinforce your words for bug, juk, fish, rib. What else do they have? I don't know. Yeah, wood, drevo. Different names of fruits. Then we got the jablko on the tree. Who needs Duolingo to teach you the word apple 500 times in a row when you can pick up 500 apples in Animal Crossing? We caught in the net a nawoznik zemleroi polezny sanitar lesa. It's a very useful cleaner of the forest, something like this. A dung digger. Okay, so it's very helpful. It cleans the forest because it digs through dung, I guess. So again, you're gonna get a little bit of a weirdness thrown in. You know, you think it's kind of just be like an average game, a life simulator, but with a little bit of weirdness. But it's still fun. It's still very nice. Let's keep going. Here we go. Here's something with a little. We can have a little more of a normal conversation here, talking to our lovely anteater friend. Yo, Gamelang, dawno się mnie nie widzieliście. Ty propuszczałeś trenirowki po mojemu jetu visual. It's been a while, right? We haven't seen each other in a while. Ty propuszczałeś trenirowki po mojemu. You've been training, I'm sure. You probably were off training, I'm sure. Jetu visual, that's obvious, right? I see that, right? Jetu visual, right? He's kind of trying to give me a little compliment. He's like, oh, you're probably working out, going and getting big, right? Zapomnim sport. Eto жизнь. Doing sport. That's what life's about, right? Getting exercise. That's what life's about. That's what he's saying, right? Każdy den ważny. Each day is important. Osobeno dzień nog. Oh, okay. He's saying like leg day. Like okay. Oh my God. So this guy's he's like a meathead. All right. I should have known this. Wearing a bodybuilding.com shirt. I should have known what he means here. He's saying doing sports, working out, getting exercise. That's what life's about. Every day is important, especially leg day. Oh my God, how did I not know that? Okay, yeah, especially leg day. Niet boli, niet жизнь. Without pain, there's no gain, there's no life, right? Without if you don't hurt yourself, you can't live, right? Obviously, yeah. It's like when you lose something in life, right? You lose your phone, and then all of a sudden you find it, and you're relieved. You feel amazing. Oh my God, I thought I lost it, right? Without pain, without loss, there is no experience of gain, of happiness, of positive emotions. I like it. See, we can learn philosophy from Russian Animal Crossing as well. So pretty much that's what I have to say about this game. It's really a fantastic game. If you're starting to learn a language, obviously Russian in this case, it's a great game to start off, to start reading, practicing, learning a few general words. Probably your 100 most said words are going to be in this game, and well, it only goes up from here. Start with a game like Animal Crossing, start with other games that are made for all ages, and then you can eventually build up to more complicated games, and before you know it, you're ready to go out into the game of life and speak your target language with other people. I'm going to give this game a rating of probably 8. The only thing that it's missing is voice, and as well, it is a bit repetitive, which obviously is good for memorization of the language, but it's not super easy to stay motivated, right, if you maybe are a bit discouraged. So that's what I would rate the game, 8. I hope you